I am super excited to welcome Nyssa. Such an honor to have you share your knowledge around our body and the wisdom around our body, the whispers, how to actually intuitively listen and take in and hear the messages. You're just such a wealth of knowledge, and I absolutely honor how you show up in the world, sister. And I'm just so grateful that you're here getting to share this with us, and then obviously on our platforms as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me here and for your such beautiful, kind words. Like, oh, means so much. I love when like my message can reach another and like touch their heart. So thank you. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to talk about tonight really is your physical body and how it is connected so intricately to your higher self through your energetic body. And my knowledge and my wisdom comes both through me, but also the more current scientific studies and research as well. So things that I might talk about tonight may be new to you in terms of what you believe your body needs or what you believe your body's telling you. And all I ask is just have an open heart. And if anything doesn't make sense or you don't agree with, I am so open-hearted to having that conversation or to answer any questions as well. It's my sole purpose to help other women really tap into their body and not only heal it, but understand it and become your own guru, and to be able to build a body that you totally like 100,000,000% like just love in all ways, shape, form, like all of it, and to be able to revel in your humanness, your beingness, the shadow side to you, the parts of you that you may not love. So let's get started, beautiful ladies. Okay, so to start with, our physical bodies make up our bodies, makes up everything: our hair, our skin, our eyes, our muscles, and all of our organs on the inside. And just like our emotional body or our energetic body, it all needs to be in flow. Everything must be moving. So everything from the food you eat to the poop that comes out the backside, your menstruation, your perspiration, everything needs to be in beautiful harmony, flowing, just like your emotions. So you ladies would have heard of like emotional blockages or suppressing your emotions. And when your emotions aren't in motion, they become stagnant and they create blockages in your body, and they can manifest as different illnesses, diseases, and other hurdles in life. It's the exact same with your physical body, and they're so intricately connected that manifestations of your energetic body come out as like a physical illness. It could come out as like mental illnesses, different types of disease and setbacks in your physical body, and they could be as subtle as like a skin issue or as big as an autoimmune issue. So it's quite, the scale's big, but we're human, and anything that you can imagine that is of like a detriment to your health, they're all intricately connected. So your higher self, your energetic body, and your physical body. And what I love to show everyone and teach everyone is how to be your own guru, how to just know how to listen to your body, right from the little messages she sends you on the daily basis all the way to these massive big hurdles that people are faced with. So I've worked with women that have completely reversed autoimmune conditions, live pain-free in their periods, have lost up to 20 kilos, like you name it. We can work with it all. And I've done that and I've seen it, and it's just so beautiful to see. So I'm just looking at my little notes so I don't miss anything, because there's so much and I can rave on and on and on. Like, man, I can rave on. So back to your body. So everything must be in flow. Okay. Now to decode the whispers of your body. Now I call them the whispers of your body because they're so subtle and we miss them time and time again because we're not taught how to listen to them. Now I'm sure all of you women have experienced painful periods at some point in your life. You may have had morning sickness when you were pregnant. You may have had skin issues. Your hair might fall out. You might have constipation. Any of these things are your body talking to you. It's trying to tell you something. And a lot of the times we see these conditions as they're really common. Love it. Old love over there's got it. My friend over there's got it. Everyone's got it. My mum, my sisters, my aunties, my uncles, well, uncles, yeah, I suppose, have it. So you see it as very common, but it's not normal. Okay, they're absolutely not normal. And there's a root cause to all of them. And that root cause could be emotional, or it could actually be physical. And that's what I really want to tap into tonight, is that a lot of your physical illnesses and diseases come from one of two things: deficiency or toxicity. Now, with toxicity, you can fix by correcting any deficiencies, because for your body to be able to process and defecate, detoxify, perspire, menstruate, all of the ways of it removes toxins, it needs specific nutrients for your liver to do that job, or your kidney to do that job. I hope that's making sense, ladies. So if you fix that deficiency through your diet and through what you're getting in, those organs are going to be able to do that job, and that flow is going to be able to happen. However, the illnesses that come from deficiency, you absolutely need to correct with proper diet. So generally, if someone's got deficiency, they're going to have the other, unless they were exposed to something like radiation, or, you know, like terrible toxic things in your environment. Then that's kind of like something you've really got to focus on detoxing. And a lot of people will go to things like a fast or a juice cleanse or a specific type of diet without actually really understanding on a foundational level what our bodies will need. So although all 5 of us are so different, the foundations to what we need are all very much the same. There's the foundational nutrients that we need, and we're just not taught that. So that's where my passion comes in, is to be able to teach women what nutrients they need. And I'll touch a little bit on that tonight, but I won't go into too much detail, because the last thing we want to be on here is like till midnight, because ain't nobody got time for that. So listening to those manifestations, okay, so think of like your body, think of things that you're struggling with. So it could be weight, it could be menopause, it could be painful periods, it could be any of those. Does anybody want to share anything that they struggle with within their physical body? Generally, when you've got constipation, you will definitely have bloating, like definitely, but sometimes not always with bloating you have constipation, but yeah. So definitely the root cause to those is deficiency, which has then led to inflammation in your gut. And it's either like a bacterial overgrowth, or it could be like a inflammation to your gut lining. And like that comes from foods that you're eating that your body can't digest properly. So then it's all living in your colon and in your small intestines. And then if you can't get it out because the motility in your colon's like not there, so motility means like movement, then it's just going to sit in there, and being blocked up, 1, doesn't feel good, but 2, it's actually like that's where your toxins are. So your body's reabsorbing those toxins as well. So yeah, so that's a real common one for a lot of women, is like that bloating. So a post I've actually got up my sleeve ready to do in the coming weeks is about body positivity. People are like, you know, oh, everyone has bloating, which I think is amazing to acknowledge it. However, it's not normal to experience bloating premenstrual. When you eat foods, it's not normal. It's actually a sign of inflammation somewhere in your digestive tract. And it goes all the way back to that deficiency toxicity and that flow in your body. So you're lacking the flow, and then you also got deficiency in something, and then you've also got that toxicity happening. And to be able to get to it, or to heal it, you've got to get to the root cause. And that root cause comes down to what you're putting in, on and around your body. It seems like perhaps, without knowing too much about you, that you might have like a bit of an inflammation response or a histamine response, just like that come and go. But definitely it would be like something that you're eating or putting around your body that's setting that inflammation off. And what happens is it's going straight through you. So you're probably not getting, when that's happening, you're not getting any nutrients in. So your body's not able to heal itself in the sense, and then you're also not getting those nutrients in. So I'd be, again, looking at that root cause. So one, like keeping a food diary and seeing what causes it, and looking at those specific foods. And like, let's look at dairy, for instance, because I know that dairy is like a cause for a lot of things like that. People will go, wow, I'm lactose intolerant, or I'm dairy intolerant, so they cut it out. Yet dairy is just the trigger. it's not the root cause. So by removing dairy out, it's not going to actually fix the root cause. You need to like look at that further underneath. So like for you, I would be suggesting definitely looking at a food diary to see what are the triggers, and then working your way backwards, like looking at other manifestations in your body, like, okay, yep, you get like those massive gas. So gas can also mean like SIBO, bacterial overgrowth. Then you get that diarrhea, would you say it is? Like, yeah, really mass emptying. So then that's also like an intolerance of some sort. Those are definitely linked to inflammation in your gut. So I'd be looking at like your stomach motility, your bacterial health, and then also your colon health. So really looking at that motility. And it really comes down to like, yeah, that food that you're putting in. And let me tell you, beautiful women, what we're taught that's healthy, so far from the truth, so far from what you actually need to function. Having womb healing and clearing is really imperative, especially after miscarriages. So there's that beautiful connection between like the emotions and the trauma, but also how you can nourish that those emotions and trauma with what's going on in your physical body. So I would say, like, with remove the trauma and the emotional side, which you said you've been working with someone, looking at that physical body side, it would be a hormonal imbalance. So it's a chemical imbalance. And you hear people talk about things like estrogen dominance and stuff like that, because we're exposed to so many estrogenic things, so estrogenic food, then plastics that can mimic that in our bodies. So our estrogen goes up. But what people lack to actually acknowledge is progesterone. Progesterone's made from specific foods that we all lack. So you need the T3 hormone from your thyroid, and then you also need healthy cholesterol and healthy vitamin A. And it's the vitamin A, sorry, didn't need to give you the finger, that gives that imbalance. So you get vitamin A from animal foods. So like think liver, think eggs, think dairy. And when your body has that sufficient amount of vitamin A, it can make that progesterone, and it levels out your hormones. So estrogen is very pro-inflammatory and progesterone is very anti-inflammatory. And when you're lacking that, you can imagine what happens. So your poor physical body is just like, it's so inflamed. And when it comes to your hormones, you then get your painful periods, you might get heavy periods, and it also is linked to causing miscarriages. Not always the cause, but it's definitely linked to it. And then it's very, very closely linked to extreme morning sickness as well. So for you, beautiful, I would definitely be looking at like nourishing your diet with foods that are going to support progesterone, so that anti-inflammatory hormone, and then also clearing out that estrogen dominance. So a lot of it sits in your intestines and your colon. So like focusing on foods that we can clear that out. And that's something I can definitely like guide you on if you desire. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into like the physical bodies, the manifestations. Now I could rave on all night about how to listen to those whispers and how to decode them, but we'll keep it nice and short. I really want to talk about like the top 5 things that I encourage like all women to start to like implement and notice to help them with their physical bodies. Because it's all well and good, you can be like eating an amazing diet, you can be exercising, you can be doing a bit of shadow work, but if they're not all beautifully in flow, then it sometimes can get you nowhere, or it can be a recipe for disaster. So it's really about that balance. And I want to give you like my top 5 things, and these are things that I live by myself. So like I'm huge on embodiment, and like if something that I'm not doing or embodying myself, I'm definitely not going to talk about it, because then like how can I tap into that and guide somebody else? So these things I do every day. First one is emotions. Acknowledge the emotions. So when it comes to your health, your physical body, is your emotions are just so important. They are so powerful and they're so important. A lot of it comes back to your childhood, okay? But they're so valid today. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're not happy with what you see, like acknowledge that. Acknowledge that frustration, that anger, that jealousy, envy, resentment, any of those feelings that you may feel about your body. Acknowledge it firstly, and then breathe in space. So like really breathe into that acknowledgement, and it'll be stored somewhere in your body. So right now I'm actually focusing on like a frustration that I have in my body, and I take the time each day to really acknowledge that frustration. And for me, it sits right here in my solar plexus region. And as you breathe into it, it allows it space. Okay, so acknowledging those emotions gives them room to expand and to feel worthy, because they're absolutely powerful, worthy emotions. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is deficiencies. Okay, now deficiencies go a little bit further than just getting a blood test or having a look at white spots on your fingernails and thinking that you're deficient in a specific vitamin. Deficiencies all come back to looking at the manifestations that your body talks to you. And a great way to look at them is to go, right, how am I pooping? How am I peeing? Now, peeing is really important. Your urine needs to be slightly yellow, but not too yellow. You don't want it clear, and you don't want it foamy either. So they're really important things. How's your menstruation? Well, obviously, how's your perspiration? If it's really, really smelly, that's quite, there's a lot of bacteria around. Other things you want to look at is your eyes, your skin, your hair, your nails. They're really, really important little signs from your body to tell you how your health's going. And my favorite ones are your body temperature and your heart rate. So they're absolute certainty in telling us what's going on with your metabolism. Now, your metabolism is everything that I just spoke about and more. So it's the digestion, and it's your body's ability to make up enzymes to break down and process things. So when your body temperature is too low, which most people's are, and your heart rate's low, it can automatically show that there is like a thyroid dysfunction. Okay, and that's really, really important because the thyroid is so important for so many different things in our body. Okay, so pulse and heart rate, really, really important little signs, whispers from your body, okay, along with all those other things. And it could be other things like skin rashes, or it could be pains and niggles in your bodies, painful breasts, earaches. All of those things are little whispers from your body telling you to have a look at something, and that it's maybe emotional and traumatic, or that deficiency that I. The next one is what you actually eat. So really making sure that you eat enough and that it's nourishing, and also how you feel when you're eating. So do you emotionally eat? Do you binge eat? Do you addictively eat? Do you eat foods that you think are naughty and you eat lots of them when you're stressed? So focusing on how you eat and what you eat are really, really important. And these are the little bits I want to give you a couple of tips here on foods that you think might not be good, but are really good. So the first one is coffee. Coffee is absolutely a very nutrient dense, I call it a tool, because it very much is a tool in your nutritional toolbox. So if you struggle to take coffee because it gives you the jitters or makes you shaky or makes you feel sick, it's because you're actually not using that tool properly. So if you're a coffee lover and you want to enjoy it more, check out the stuff I'm going to be sharing in the coming weeks, because it'll teach you exactly how to have coffee. But my tips are to have it on a full stomach and always have it with protein and some sugar. So just pop in some cow's milk and a bit of sugar. Perfect. So a lot of people will actually have coffee on an empty stomach and without anything in it, maybe a black coffee, no sugar, maybe a little bit of milk or a bit of nut milk. And it's just not enough to actually balance out that blood sugar. And then you get the jitters, and it can actually, if you're getting the jitters, it can be quite detrimental to your adrenals and like your body's metabolism. So there is so much misinformation out there about coffee. So that's the first one. The next one is sugar. Sugar is like the essence to our femininity. Sugar is like the essence to our healthy metabolism. Our liver needs sugar. Our thyroid needs sugar. And we're very much taught to cut sugar out because it makes you fat, or it's the cause of cancer, and all these crazy extreme, these claims. Okay, but sugar it's demonized something incredibly, and it really shouldn't be. Sugar is very anti-inflammatory, and when your body breaks down sugar, it creates anti-inflammatory compounds which are absolutely essential to our body. But it's extremely important. And you get your sugar from fruit juice, white sugar, brown sugar, coconut sugar, homemade delicious treats. So I just made a bunch of marshmallows today, and that's my treats for the next week for me and my whole family. I'll make cookies sometimes, I'll make cakes. Doesn't mean that you go out and get like Krispy Kremes and all that stuff, but that stuff's full of all toxic crap. Okay, it's got a lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids, it's got canola oil, it's got additives and preservatives, and that stuff's horrendous to your body. But homemade treats are so nourishing and so good for you. And in a diet that's nourishing, so you're getting all your nutritional needs and you have no deficiencies, sugar is just perfect. So that's the third one that I want to talk to you about. And then things like whole food vitamin C, whole food vitamin A are extremely important. And I would be looking at getting them from like your citrus or a whole food supplement, and then something like a liver supplement as well. So if you don't want to eat like those organ meats to get all of the good trace minerals, then definitely a liver supplement, which you can absolutely get. And then lastly, collagen as well. So that's going to be quite anti-inflammatory, and you can put that in your coffee, you can put that in your cooking. I'll add it to yogurts, and it's got a really anti-inflammatory profile to it. So they're going to help nourish your body and add to your intake. So that's number 3. Okay, so I'll just tell you to I'll recap. So it's just eating enough food and in the emotional state that you're eating. Okay, so making sure that the food's nourishing, but your mental state is in a particular state of mind, that you're not suppressing anything. So think emotional eating, stressful eating. So really focus on that each day. And to make your food with love. Like I dance when I cook. Like I absolutely celebrate. I celebrate the food I eat, and it's so beautiful. People probably laugh at me. Number 4 is movement. Okay, now I'm not talking about a hard exercise, running every day and training in the gym. I'm talking about beautiful movement. So it could be yoga, it could be dancing. Like I love to dance. Dancing is so nourishing and beautiful. Stretching your body, really feeling the pain. So if you've got pain somewhere, like really allowing it to move. If you're feeling tight and tense, like allowing that to just free flow. It's extremely important. If you move every day and allow those emotions, blockages, whatever it is, allow those whispers to come out, then that is something that I would highly encourage you to do. In with movement, I would definitely say a little bit of resistance training. Now, that doesn't mean going to the gym and lifting heavy weights, but something that's going to build a little bit of muscle on your body. And I don't mean like a bodybuilder muscle, just enough that it encourages your body to burn calories or burn fat while you're asleep, because it's much healthier than burning fat when you're awake. That's a whole nother topic. And it's why I'm so against things like keto diets and things like that, because long term they're not that healthy for your body. So you really want to encourage your body to burn calories or burn that fat when you're asleep, because it's a lot more gentle on your liver and it's less inflammatory to your body. So building a little bit of muscle. And the last one is self-love. Okay, and it's so big, especially for mamas, women really, because we're not taught that. We're really not taught how to self-nourish. We're not taught how to set those boundaries. Now I'm talking about everything. Boundaries on like how you treat yourself, boundaries on how you allow others to treat you, boundaries on how you treat your body, boundaries on how you talk to yourself when you see yourself naked, boundaries on how you feel when you're moving your body. Like that self-love is so important, and it's highly underrated. Like everyone talks about self-love, everyone talks about going to get a facial, or like, yes, I'm self-loving myself, yet what goes on in between the ears is the complete opposite. So that self-love is so important, and it ties in so beautiful with being a female, with being a woman, with being a goddess, whatever words resonate, sister, queen, all of those things. It just ties in so beautifully with it. And if those 5 topics that I spoke about, if you can intricately let them flow together, you will get to a place of beautiful harmony in your body and your health. It's not always easy, and sometimes it takes a while because it depends on how long you've lived a certain way. Like I know for me, I'm 38, so I've lived like nearly 3 decades in a way that's absolutely punished my body. Like I've done everything from like eating disorder, drugs, alcohol, abuse, abusive relationships, like mentally, emotionally, physically. I have then also done that to myself. I've had 2 lots of implants put in, 2 lots taken out. Like, I could rave on for ages the amount of times I've punished my body. And my healing journey, I'm probably about year 4 into my healing journey. And I gained 20 kilos before I started to see the weight drop off. And that's a struggle in a world that glorifies the external. So to really find that harmony in those 5 things, you'll be able to go through your journey of coming back to yourself and to really honor that body. And then when you get to that place, or as you start to navigate it and get to that place, you will feel more on purpose, and you'll feel more connected to your purpose, because we're all here for a purpose, whether that's being a mum, a friend, a businesswoman, making $1 million, traveling the world. Like, we're here for a purpose, and you'll be able to tap into that, and your beautiful gifts will flourish. Whether those gifts are energetic, emotional, spiritual, physical, they will flourish because you will be more connected to those, and you will be able to hear the messages from your higher self a lot more fluently. So vitamin A is essential for reproductive health, for skin health, eye health. So just think like regenerative, or new cells, or new life, and then obviously eyesight, and then skin health, and then the entire health of your digestive tract. So vitamin A is so, so important. Synthetic vitamin A, however, it can be very detrimental to your body, just like any, but however, synthetic in a woman can be very detrimental, especially if you're pregnant, and they highly recommend that you don't take it while you're pregnant. However, from food, it's so nourishing. So it's so very, very nourishing. And like I touched on, it's extremely important for hormonal health. And most women who have hormonal issues will be lacking in vitamin A because they're lacking in that progesterone, that anti-inflammatory hormone. So you get good quantities of vitamin A from like liver. Who's going to eat liver? However, like 2 generations ago, they lived off eating the entire beast. So they would, they call it like nose to toe, or nose to tail, or something like that. They lived off that. Whereas nowadays we just live off muscle meat, and muscle meat's quite anti-inflammatory, the amino acid profile. So getting your vitamin A from something like liver or bone broth is really, really nourishing. And they're bringing out now things like desiccated liver. So that's literally liver dry freezed and then put in capsules, and you can just take them with your diet each day, and it's a great way to get that in. So you're going to get that bioavailable form of vitamin A in to help replenish that mineral, that nutrient, along with a heap of other trace minerals which are found in liver as well. So very, very important. Generally, when your body's craving something, it's because it wants that. Most people, when they crave things, they crave sugar, it's because you need sugar. So I always say, have that cake, have that biscuit. However, make it a good choice. So if I feel like something sweet, I will make it. I'll go make it at home. Yeah, I do. I have some really simple recipes, actually. Like, I've got a beautiful recipe of like little chocolate chip cookies, the marshmallows I made today, brownies, fudge, and then brownies. So they're amazing little treats, and you make them up into like bite sizes, and there's a snack for each day. So yeah, absolutely. And when I say that these are recipes like a brownie, it's not being made with like black beans and being like with avocado or whatever. Like, it's actual proper like ingredients and it tastes amazing.
I love that.
That would be great.
Yeah, great suggestion. Same. Yum, homemade treats. Amazing. Thank you, beautiful. I'm just feeling so full after that.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you so much, sister. It's
My
just been
pleasure.
such a privilege to have you on and join us